2002, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Sorry for the delay in getting some tutorials up. I have been extremely busy with work and just have not had the time to go through and do it. I will do it as often as I can and try to get all the information and collect the feedback each week so that I can get you better and better videos each and every week. This track map is 14 turns on here. I think the iRacing calls it 13 turns, so I'm going to be calling it 14 turns on here. It is 2.7 miles in length. There's lots of drafting opportunities here. Passing can still be a little bit difficult in some of the areas. You'll see people get a little bit of aggressive in like 3, 4, 5, and then I should say 3, 4, then 6 and 7, or try to dive bomb at 8 and 9, which slows both cars way down. Passing in 10 is somewhat difficult, especially you get it to hold it because you have that long casino straight on the back where you can sometimes get 2 passes in there depending on how, if you get a run out of 10, then you'll pass someone and then they might be able to pass you right back before you go into 13, 14 in the Wall of Champions. Sunday night Skippy is going strong with great turnout. Currently north of 30 racers each Sunday are showing up. I think we've had as high as 34, 35 racers. There's a 40-minute race. We do a 1-hour practice, a 15-minute open qualifier, then a 40-minute race that is fuel restricted, so you will have to do a pit stop. We've got some of the top guys in the Skippy, and we go, people north of 5,000 iRating all the way down to 1,000, looking for clean racers that respect each other, want to race with each other each and every week. It's a breath of fresh air after racing in the pub races where you get some overly aggressive drivers. People are starting to figure out, hey, it's a 40-minute race. Let's make sure that not only do I protect myself, but I protect the fellow drivers and get some good competition and good racing in each and every week. The weather on this tutorial was 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and for the air temperature, 79 for the track temperature. Winds were southwest at 9 miles per hour. This session was a hosted session by Ian, who is one of the admins for the Sunday Night Skippy, and he hosted a 2-hour session, and I was able to hop in there and get some laps in the last 20 minutes or so. I have a few laps here. This is the 153.872. Followed that up with a 153.990 and then a 153.605. I didn't show the 605 just because on that very I want to say it's the first corner that's on it. I cut it a little much and I got an off track on there, so that one doesn't really count, even though I was significantly faster there, not because of that off track, but I just did really well through some of the other corners on there. Optimal track time for this week is going to be, for me is right in the mid 153s. I think we're going to see 152s in here when the temps drop a little bit, and when these super fast guys get those drafts, they'll pick up a significant amount of time on here. So that's going to be interesting as we go through the week on here. My setup, it doesn't change a whole lot. In fact, I think the only thing I did on this track was move it up to put it to a -4 SPO. This track, I had the opportunity about 3 or 4 years ago. I asked and got some tutorial from Johnny Gendy, showed me how to use some of the data, and this was one of the tracks, or this is the track that we kind of practiced on, and he was able to show me a couple things, follow me around, talk to me as I was going through the lap. And so this setup I don't think has really changed since then. I've kept it the same, for several years, even with the different generations of the car on there. Let's go through and we'll do a lap of just a view from the cockpit, or I'll do the chase view because I'll do the cockpit in a second. So we'll just do a chase view on here, and we'll follow along. You'll see the first little bit of this, I kind of have a draft, but these guys get into a bad exit out of the corner, so they're out of there. So they didn't really affect the lap time too much on this. So we'll go through and let this play.
Send me a copy in. I see you, man. I think I probably drew into the wall.
I was wondering if there's a shortcut I missed there or something.
Alright, mate, take it.
And it takes forever for the tires to heat up here.
All right, so that's a lap going around there. As I said at the end of that, this is lap like 14, 15, 16 for me. I really felt the tires didn't get warm probably until lap like 10 or 12. It just seemed like it took forever for it. And then once they did, right once I got up to that far into the practice sessions, I noticed a significant difference. Also started remembering the track again as well, since it's been a while since I've been on this track. So let's go through. We'll go through the cockpit view. You should be able to see my which gear I'm in. That's something that people asked for in the past. Hey, can you show what gear you're in? That helps everyone out. So it's on the screen so you can see which gear I am in. So I'm going to go into the cockpit view as soon as I can find where that's at. There we go. All right. So just showing you through here, you'll see you take a whole lot of curb on here, and we'll talk about this at the end of the lap, but we're going to go ahead and go forward on here and take a look at this. All right, so as you're coming down the front straight, I'm trying to stay kind of off to the right here, kind of mid-track to the right. What I'm doing is I come up here, I'm coming up and I'm looking at this concrete that's right here, and you'll see about halfway on the second one is I'm getting off the gas and I'm starting to get onto the brake. I'm going to downshift 2 gears into here. I start getting the car to slide a little bit. You see the brake, I'm trail braking it a little bit. I start to get on the gas a little bit just to keep the rear end from sliding out on me too much. And pop it up just a little bit here, and you'll see I go full throttle, and then I'm going to go into brake almost immediately and downshift all the way to first. And then trying to get back on that gas as soon as the tires start to sit on it for me, trying to get way back on the gas. Right tires are on that curb that's on there. So as we come around here, your front left, don't go too far to the left here. You will get either a time penalty or an off track on here. This is about all that you can take here. This is one of the classic things that Pete will love. When you land, you want the wheels to be straight because your left tires will get some air on here. So you want that to straighten. You want it to, once you land, you want to straighten that wheel out to where you aim kind of straight here. You'll see I'm straightened for 1 second, then I'm immediately on the brakes, downshifting, full throttle again, track out to your left, then come back to your right and kind of shoot straight as I am right here. You're going to come up, and what I'm looking up here is really this kind of the one marker. It's before the one marker. I'm getting off the getting off the brake or gas, getting on the brake a little bit. I will downshift one, and then try to get back on that throttle way early in here. And the trick is to not go down 2 gears, but just 1 gear in here, and to be able to save that speed up here. You go to track all the way to the right. As you can see, the cars in front of me, they both decided to hit the wall, and I got a little compromised on here. I'll normally come and put my tires on the left curb over here for this next turn. Got a little compromised because I wasn't sure what Ewan was going to do here. He squeezed me just a little bit, cost me a little bit of time, but not too bad. Stay there right around here. I almost have the same line. I'll take it a little bit tighter as far as the exit when I can enter it a little bit wider. Coming down here, I'm looking kind of at this end of this curve here, and it's kind of, you know, as you see, I'm starting to brake a little bit right there, and I'm off the gas fully right at that curb. So the transition's taking place, or sorry, not the curb, the wall. The transition's taking place about right there. Getting on that brake, downshifting, getting some rotation in the back of the car, trail braking through here, and this is all going into
I think
6.
you're probably
And then I start to get on the throttle just a little bit to kind of let the rear tires sit
doing to the wall.
down. And then I'm going full throttle again right when I get off that. I'm going all the way up to full throttle. As soon as you get off of this, you'll see I'm going almost immediately into this right-hand turn, taking a lot of curb out over here, and then just unwinding the wheel until I don't feel like I'm scrubbing any speed as I go out to that side. You can go all the way out to this curb. I've taken this a little bit faster, and it does take you all the way out to where you're almost going to hit that wall. You're going to shoot straight down here, upshift. We're coming up into 8.
I missed there or something.
We're coming up into turn 8. My braking point that I watch for here, and I've been struggling with this a little bit as I'm braking too late as I get to the bridge, then I brake. We'll see what I did here. I'm at that bridge. I'm coming off the gas. I'm getting on the brake. I really want to get it before I get underneath the bridge, so still probably just a tiny bit too late there. Not too bad on this one. I've been, you know, really not getting on the brake until about midpoint or just about where the shadow comes out, and that's just too late, and it really messes up your lap time on here. You're downshifting. It's kind of like it looks like it's kind of an early turn in, but you're trying to get your tires on this, and as soon as you land, because you kind of take off from there, you're keeping the tires to the right, but you almost immediately as the car kind of stabilizes through here, you see that I start turning that left, and I'm taking this left tire just on the left hand side of that curb is kind of what my goal is, and that on that 9, kind of hook it, and then I slide way out to the right, and then just shoot right back over to the left hand side, going through your gears.
Alright, mate, take it.
As I'm coming down here, I'm looking at this 2 marker. I'm going to brake just past the 2. This is another one I was braking too late in. I even here, I think I brake a little bit too late. You'll see I'm just past that 2. I'm getting on the brakes. I'm right, threshold braking, slowing down. The car starts to slide a little bit on me. I'm getting off that brakes, but just a little bit on there. And you can see I went a little bit wide. If you can keep your tires on the curb right here, you can get on the throttle a little bit sooner. I'm still pushing out here. I'm back on the throttle, but you'll see I slowed way down. You can just kind of hear the engine going down through here. So if I was able to turn in slightly later but get a little bit more rotation, I'd like to be back on full throttle. About right in here is where I like to be full throttle. So you can tell the difference is, probably a car length at least. Come out here, stay to your left, then you're going to shoot to your right straight down here. And this is, a critical corner on here. People in practice are asking, hey, how are you getting into the 153s? And I look at their times and they're running 156s, 157s. One of the biggest corners that they're going to make up most of the time on is this 13, 14, which is coming up here. When your tires are cold, you need to be looking at braking right in the 2.5, so right after the 3. You need to be looking at getting on the brakes. So probably about right in here is when you want to be getting on the brakes. As the tires get warm, you can push it a little bit further. I'm way heavy on the brakes, as you can see. I mean, that's like 65, 70%. I'm getting some rotation on the car, which is exactly what I want, but I'm really off the brakes. So the brakes heavy. I start getting that rotation. I come off them smoothly. It's not just dropping it off. As you can see, I'm dropping it smoothly off, and then I'm going to start getting on that gas again right here as I mount this curb and get ready to take flight and land and do all the fun stuff here. So this one, it's nice to have your tire about with here. I need to work on this a little bit. I know I have a little bit more speed in here based on my deltas. Um, so I got to work on this a little bit, but this is pretty fast through here. I got my right tire just on top of the white sausage curb. You can see that how much turning I have in there. It's quite a bit of turning. I'm going to straighten that out in just a second, and you'll see me start turning to the left, and I'm going almost full throttle. So now I'm full throttle halfway between the two. So start getting on throttle, land, full throttle, and turn left. So land, you can see the tires literally land and I'm turning left. I'm going to track all the way out here to the right, and you need to be out here in this green. That's where the tire is going to be. I mean, even brushing that wall is fast. You don't want to get 0x and no damage on it, but that's fast. Then you're just going to stay on the gas as you come down here. Go full throttle.
And it takes forever for the tires to heat up here.
And as I said, it takes forever for the tires to heat up. And that's a lap around Gilles Villeneuve. It's going to be a fun races this week. There's lots of people that are out there. One of the things we talked a little bit about in our forums for the Sunday Night Skippy on Discord was I think they called it the what was it called? I can't even remember. The vortex of doom. That's what I'll call it. And that's kind of that overlap going into a corner in the braking zone, or a dive bomb, which a lot of people call it. Racing's racing. Going in there, getting into that position is something that happens, and in the public races, you really have to know who you're racing against and understanding what they're doing and when they're going to do it. Otherwise, most of the time, whenever someone does that dive bomb on the last second on you, unless are extremely aware and you kind of let them do it, or you expect it, there's good chance that you guys are going to have contact in there. So just be careful with it. It's not something you don't want to ruin your race. You don't want to ruin someone else's race. And having big elbows and pushing your way in there and doing a dive bomb, I mean, it doesn't make anyone happy. And like I said, it's being so late in like a braking zone, someone going through and doing that, 9 times out of 10, an accident's going to occur unless someone takes some evasive maneuvers, and it's not a lot of fun. Also, we talk on about each week and some of the meetings that we have is, you got to watch when you want to draft and when you want to race. There's a lot of people that want to race every corner and they lose contact with the front runners, or they allow people behind them to catch up. Sometimes it's worth just sitting back there, going to maybe what you think is a little slower than what you could, but remember you do have draft, and being able to gap the people in front or catch people gap people behind or catch people in front, and then once you have a 2 or 3 second, then start racing uh, more to where you slow each other down, where you can get that good pass in there. Racing every corner, and I've seen it, several times during the last couple of weeks. Is I'll be up there, and first and second will be within our draft, and then all of a sudden fourth place will want to race me in every single corner, and I'll let them go by, and they end up not being fast enough to stay with the draft, and then we both lose out, and then it becomes just a race between two cars, and we're racing for third and fourth instead of first and second. At the end of the day, it's racing, but I'd much rather race for first or second, or give myself at least the opportunity to do so. And I think a lot of people that have started racing with the COVID-19 and everything, they're just not as experienced with it. So it's one of those things, talk about it. Talk about it here. We talk about it in our in a Sunday night Skippy League, and it's something that people just have to learn that race calf piece of it, and hopefully they will, and not mess up too many races, other people's races along the ways. So have a great week, everyone. Sorry for the long pause in tutorials, but I will start to try to get these a little bit more regularly in the future. Thanks again.